welcome to one more Godllywood moment. It's a great pleasure to be here with you once again, and in this month of August, we are sharing with you our new series, 9 Distractions for Women in Our Days. And tonight, I want to share one more distraction, which is comparisons. Have you ever realized that when we compare ourselves to others, we are distracting ourselves and no more paying attention to what is the most important? We have plenty of examples of comparisons, especially as women who tend to have this kind of distraction, who tend to have this kind of behavior. Most of the times we find those who like to look to other people's lives, families, relationships, jobs, and forget to look at themselves. I remember many years ago, when I was a child, I remember having this, let's say, experience. Because my father passed away when I was very little, and I grew up being raised by my mom. And at school, I used to see my friends coming, being brought by the parents, especially by the father, and I would look down and say, oh, I don't have my father here. At first, it was just a feeling, but then I started seeing it as a comparison. I would look and say, oh, if I had my father here, or look at the marriage. But later on, I would find out that the marriage, or let's say the parents of my friends, they were not so happy together. Whereas with my mom, I would have the love, the care, the attention that if my father was alive, he would give to me as well. And that is just one experience that I had, because I used to compare my life a lot to my friends when I was little, exactly because I didn't have the father figure. I grew up just being raised by my mom. And maybe that is your case. You have spent most of your life comparing yourself with your friends, with your colleague at work, with your family member, looking up as if they are much better than you. One thing, and that I want to make it clear to you, is when you admire someone and you say, oh, I like the way you are with your children. Oh, I like the way you are with your husband, with your wife, or when you take care of your parents. That's fine, when you admire what others do. But when we come to the point of comparing, in fact, when we come to the point of nullifying our lives and even despising what we have and try to value more, or let's say value more what others have, so we are distracting, we are no longer focusing on what is more important on what is precious for us. How many times we find those who have parents at home who are careful, who are caring, who are affectionate, who work hard to give the best to their children, but they insist on saying, the parents of my friends, they are much better. If it was them, they would give me this, they would buy this. You don't have money, you never have conditions to give. In my friend's house, there they have this, there they have that. So it means you look down on what your parents maybe work hard for you to have. Or maybe your husband or your children, they are there working hard, studying, or your husband is working hard to give you the best, to pay the rent, to pay the expenses in the house, but you are insisting on comparing him to your friend's husband, to say that look at them, look the way he takes care of her. You know, comparison is something very subtle. It starts with something very small. You look at someone, you say, oh, I like the way she dresses. Oh, I like the pair of shoes. Oh, I like the hair. Oh, you know, something that you maybe look, but when it comes to character, maybe you say, oh, I wish so-and-so, you know, I wish my husband, I wish my children could be more, you know, intelligent. You know, you have to be strong. You are very weak. You look at the children of so-and-so, so you touch a very soft spot in that person's life. You go deep, you know, in the heart, in the feelings, to the point of seeing people sometimes going through depression. because they don't receive at home what the parents or what the wife or the husband is supposed to give, because they tend to compare them to others. How many parents come to the children and say, you know, so-and-so is in the university. You, until now, every year, you are repeating. You don't do well. All the time you fail in your exams. But have you ever asked why? Maybe because you are always comparing your children to other people's children. And you are losing the most important. Maybe that child is respectful, is loving, is caring, is always there for you, helping you. But you insist on comparing them to other people's children who maybe are disobedient, are proud, you know, and you are there distracting, you are losing focus on what is so important, that is the raising, the upbringing of your children, or the attention that you are supposed to give. Maybe your husband has a job that is not the best of the jobs, but is an honest job. Is a job that, you know, glorifies the name of God. On the other hand, your friend has a husband who has a job who maybe is illegal. Maybe it's a job that is not so honest. Maybe his earnings he gets his earning in a dishonest way. But you tend to compare. You tend to compare them, your family, your children, your husband, your parents, and comes to the point of comparing yourself as well. You think, with me, I will never succeed. Look at me, I'm a failure. Look at so-and-so. And deep down, you have much more than that other person has. But you are looking at the grass, let's say. For you, everything that comes from them is far better than yours. And God today is calling your attention. It's showing you that, yes, you have much more than you can ever imagine. Look around you. Look inside of you. Stop comparing yourself. Last week, Miss Togo spoke about competition. When you think about competing yourself, when you say, oh, I am a competitive person, I want to compete, at least you see something, some potential in you. But when you compare, it's like, I am a zero on the left. I have no value. Look at the other one. She's far better than me. And God today wants you to stop and look. And I want to share with you here, verse 4 of chapter 6 in the book of Galatians. Look what it says. But let each one examine his own work. When it comes to work, it's not just a job. It's the work, what you have done, what you have been doing at home, the way you are taking care of your family, of your relationships, you know, of your job or your career, your decisions in life. It says like that, but let each one examine his own work. And then he will have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. So you have what it takes to rejoice. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone. Just go for it. You have a lot, you have more than you can ever expect. And if you have not seen it yet, it's time for you to go and ask God. God, show me. Show me. Because I have been distracting myself, looking at other people's lives, comparing myself. And maybe comparing yourself with someone that you think is living in a bed of roses, but is a failure. A marriage that is fake. Children that are unhappy. A job that is done under the carpet, that is not honest. A husband who is not faithful to the wife. And you have at home someone who cares for you, who is faithful to you, who loves and respects you. So start paying more attention to it. Don't let comparison distract you. And for sure, you are going to be happy and rejoice in yourself and not in another. So this is what we would like to share with you tonight, and I hope it has blessed you. I'll see you next time. God bless you all. Bye-bye.